Hey everyone, Jake here for American Trucks, and in this video we're taking a look at the Raxium CXR series LED headlights with black housings and clear lenses, fitting 2015 to 2017 F-150s equipped with factory halogen headlights. These are perfect for the F-150 owner who's after a simple and aggressive update with more lighting output for their truck. These are a cool mod for the front end of your F-150 that will give you big name benefits without the big name price tag. Now we see a lot of headlights come through the doors here, and it's easy to go overboard when it comes to style, but the CXR series keep things a bit more subdued. And if they look similar to what you'd find on the Raptor of this generation, that's not your imagination. The black internal housings and the simple LED structure make these look like they could have been a factory option, but they have way more lighting output than your standard halogens. Inside you've got two Ice Cube style LED projectors. The top ones function as your low beams, and the bottom ones kick on to make up your high beams. And as you'd expect with LED projectors, these are going to put out a crisp light with a sharp cutoff and a nice wide beam pattern. These are also going to be a pretty cool temperature light, around 5000K or so, which means they're going to be a little bit more on the bright white-ish sort of side as opposed to the yellow or the warmer light that you get from your factory halogens. Now you also of course get more LEDs around the outside, and those are going to function as your daytime running lights. The DRLs illuminate a diffused white color, and that gives the CXRs a nice modern clean look. The turn signals are also sequential. It's always just a little cool extra to have. Now I've looked at a handful of the CXR series from Raxium, and I have to say, every time I pull one out of the box, I'm pretty impressed. These are a pretty high quality light, and although most headlights in the automotive sector are going to be made from the same types of materials, how they're put together is a little bit different, and you can usually tell when you pull these out of the box how nice they are, which was certainly the case when I got these out. The outer housings are made from your industry standard ABS plastic, which is known for its lightweight and durability. Much the same is true of the lenses. These are going to be the industry standard polycarbonate, but these also feature a UV coating over top for some additional protection against the elements. So if you live somewhere where you get a lot of sun or some other extreme weather, these aren't going to crack, craze, or get messed up like you would find with uncoated polycarbonate. You also have integrated heat sinks to keep the electronics cool and running properly, and the entire housing is sealed to keep out dirt and moisture. So that means that these should be quite durable and they'll last you a long time and be worry-free. The CXRs are also DOT and SAE approved, meaning that they are fully street legal, and they've got integrated adjusters. Pricing comes in at about $900, and that does put them in the higher end of the segment. Make no mistake though, with all the LEDs and the output that these have, these are definitely a premium product, and of course the price is going to reflect that. But if you want a setup that is well integrated and good looking, you really don't have to go any further than these. Installation gets a 1 out of 3 on our difficulty meter, and the job should take you around 1 hour to complete. Now these are a fully plug and play operation, no wiring required. You're just gonna have to plug a bunch of stuff in, but everything you need comes included in the kit. So these will plug right in place to your factory lights and be ready to go, making this a job that pretty much anybody can accomplish at home with some time and a few tools. So with that, let's head on out to the shop. We'll show you what tools you need and we'll walk you through the process.
For this install, you need a 3/8 ratchet, extension, a T25, a 10 and 7mm socket, clip removal tool, Phillips head screwdriver, needle nose pliers, diagonal cutters, and zip ties. All right, today we're gonna be installing some headlights on our F-150. First, we're gonna watch a quick video how to uninstall stock ones, then we'll come back here to install the new ones.
Now the first step of the uninstall of our factory headlights is to get off this trim panel. Now the trim panel goes all the way around, and in order to completely remove this, we have to peel back some of our fender flare. Now if your truck doesn't have fender flares, obviously that makes life a little easier, but there still will be a couple of retainer screws back here. So step number 1, I'm gonna use a panel removal tool. A flathead screwdriver works as well, but I find this to be a little easier. We're gonna peel up and pry off this little plastic rivet or the push pin clip at the top. From there, we'll move into our fender well. Now some of these can be pretty stubborn, so you might have to go side to side, back to back to get them to pop out. Once that top pops off, peel up under the bottom portion and we'll get it out of place. With the top part out of place, we're just gonna pry up under the bottom portion and set it aside. Now this part on the back of our fender flare, there's 2 Phillips head screws. Now as you can see, we have one off already, but you can grab your Phillips head screwdriver and just remove both of them. Pretty simple. You want to make sure you're holding on to these to be reinstalled later. All right, now that you have the screws out of place, we're going to use the flat portion of a panel removal tool to pry up and out on that fender flare. Now you'll notice there are 3 clips retaining it to your fender right here. We're just going to remove those 3 and detach it. Now once you get the one at the top off, these second two are actually clipped in. So you want to use the little pry portion of it, go straight in and pry out. You'll hear the snap, it'll detach. Now you see these clips are loosened at this point, at least this middle one is. You want to make sure they stay on the fender flare. You want it to detach from the trim panel and not detach from the fender flare to make it easier for the reinstallation. Now the bottom one, we're just going to pry in, pop right out. Now it's detached. So now we have this whole panel free and we can use that to peel this off. So what we're going to do is pop this panel out and remove it from under the headlight. All right, from here, gently peel back onto the fender flare. You don't want to break it. There are more clips. If you want to remove more, you can. This is really all you'll technically need though. You want to pry back on this trim panel as much as you can on this portion. It'll detach, go over to your opposite side under your headlight and start to peel back on that. They're really just snapped into place. So once you detach all the portions, you'll be able to set it aside. All right, at this point, grab a 10mm socket. I'm gonna use an extension to make life just a little easier here. There are 3 10mm bolts at the bottom of this black bezel. Get those off. All right, with that, this black trim piece will come and we can gain access to the bottom of the headlight. Now at the top of your headlight, there are 2 10mm bolts. You want to get those out of the way as well. Now between the headlight and the grille, there's 1 more 10mm bolt tucked in a little bit deeper. You will need an extension for that. So we're going to insert that right into this little gap here. Go straight back, find the 10, loosen that up. If you pull straight back, it should come out with your socket. At that point, your headlight's completely loose and ready to come out. Pull straight back. Now you don't want to pull too hard because there are still wiring harnesses attached. You want to pinch, detach your bulbs, and now you can set your factory headlight aside.
All right, before we can install our new headlights, we just have to transfer over our mounting bracket off of our stock headlight over to our new headlight. So there's 3 T25 screws that we just need to take off the factory headlight. All right, we can just transfer that over to our new headlight now. All right, you can go do the same thing for the other headlight. All right, now we just need to run our harness for our fuse tap. So we have our fuse tap, we have our shorter end, which will go to the passenger side, and then our longer wire, which will run across to our driver's side. But first, we are going to run our fuse tap up behind the frame here, so it comes out behind the battery. Now it's gonna be hard to see, but we'll just pull it up through here and pull the extra through, and then now we're gonna pull a fuse out of our fuse box and plug this in. All right, so now we're gonna open our fuse box, pull our lid off. I'm pulling up on that tab. Now the fuse we are going after is spot 105, that's this 10 amp right here. So we're gonna use our needle nose pliers and pull that out. All right, we're gonna grab our fuse tap and put that into place, like so. And then we can put our lid back on. All right, you'll see we have our first connector here. This will be for the passenger side headlight. So we're just gonna leave that in the area with all the other wiring. Then we're gonna take our longer wire, and so we're gonna start securing it. We're gonna start with this harness here. Now you can secure yours however you want. Just wanna make sure it doesn't touch anything hot or anything that's gonna move. Secure it to that harness, take a pair of diagonal cutters and cut off the extra. And we can just keep going across the front of the truck. All right, now we're just gonna run our wire across our rad cover. Now there is not a great spot to secure it to up here, but we're just gonna tuck ours under the rubber here and rubber here and pull it tight. And then we will secure our harness over here to our wiring harness over in this headlight area. All right, now I just bunched up the extra harness here to take a zip tie and secure it right here to the factory harness. All right, now we're gonna get our new headlight installed. We just have to plug in our wiring harnesses. So we have our 4 connectors coming from the headlight, and we have to plug in our 4 harnesses coming from the vehicle. So we're gonna start with our harness that we ran from our fuse block. It's gonna plug into our single pin connector here. And we have our 2-pin connector. Our headlight connector. And then lastly, our turn signal. All right, now that we have all those plugged in together, just gonna quick talk about this connector right here. Now this connector, with plugged in, it will give you a sequential turn signal. If you unplug it, like so, it'll just be a normal flashing turn signal. We're gonna leave ours plugged in for now, and we can get our headlight into place. All right, with our headlight in place, we can reinstall our 3 10mm bolts, 2 up top and 1 on the side. All right, so we're gonna start by threading our 2 top 10mm bolts in. Grab our ratchet 10mm socket and tighten them down. All right, then we have our next 10mm socket on the inside of the headlight here. All right, now we just have our bolt on the inside of our headlight here. It's gonna be hard to see. You're just gonna need to grab your ratchet, extension, and 10mm socket, and we can tighten it down. All right, now we're just gonna put our lower trim piece in here. Line up the tabs to get it in place, and we can reinstall our 3 10mm bolts. All right, now we're gonna put on our painted headlight cover. Just gonna pull back our fender flare and get that in position. Line up our 2 tabs about here and here on the headlight. And then push it in under the fender. Put our fender filler back into place. All right, and we're gonna reinstall our push clip at the top of the trim here. All right, now we just need to reinstall our 2 screws into our fender liner here. Now we have 7mm screws for ours. You might have had your Phillips head screws. You just need to use either tool that you need, either a Phillips head screwdriver, or in this case, a ratchet and a 7mm socket. We're just gonna thread those in. And then tighten them down. All right, once you get done all of this, you can go ahead and repeat those same steps for the other headlight. All right, that wraps up our install of our Raxium CXR series LED headlights with amber DRL with a black housing and clear lens for our 2015 to 2017 F-150 with factory halogen headlights. And remember, for everything F-150, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.